And three, two, one. Hello, everyone. This is Victor and Julie here with TechTalks, and we have another week of just a little bit of information on the tech stuff.
Here, there,
Yeah, here
everything.
they're random nitpicks. Well, I wouldn't say they're nitpicks. Random things about the tech world that has been in the news the past couple weeks, actually.
What's up first?
And up first, we have well, we'll start actually with this. There's two main things that I was going to talk about, and these might be more on the political side of things, but
Okay.
we talking about the tech part of it and less the political part of it, just so that we have base understanding of what's being talked about. But then we won't necessarily go into the politics of it because that's not what we are here for. And so the first thing is kind of this. You'll be hearing of tech jobs actually being automated. You're going to hear a lot recently of automated jobs, but specifically tech jobs also are in the verge of being automated.
I heard that even basic coding can be
Yes.
automated now.
Yes, and that's one of the things that one of the evidences that is going to be showing like what that looks like what how does it mean that these things will be automated away. So in the gaming world, there's what's called ray tracing that is becoming pretty popular now that it's going to be in the next generation consoles.
I know what that is. Can I, for those people that don't know, because I only just learned what this is, it's in the video games when the light looks more realistic. Your eyes can kind of tell in those video games where the light is artificially generated by the artists. And they do a pretty decent job, way better than I could do. But ray tracing, after Victor showed me and introduced me to this concept, where it looks like there's a more genuine light source and the shadows are more genuine to life, there's a notable difference, and it's actually a lot less to visually process. As someone that finds it hard sometimes to process video game stuff, I think the more true to life is easier for your eyes to understand more immediately, and it
Yeah.
just looks better.
and
Anyways, go on.
and so what technologically it means and how it makes it easier for game development and takes less resources and in turn less people is so like before ray tracing somebody had to design not to like when a video game has a light in it, people had to design the light, they had to design the spread of the light, they had to design the hitbox of the things that are in the light and how that light interacts with those things. And so if you had something creating a shadow, you had to you had like the essentially you had the code the shadow how everything would work. You're back in the old days, you actually just straight up had to create your own sprite shadow and then like and put it in there like as an additional piece of art. And now you can just kind of tell the light like say that this is a light, this is an object, this is where the light is spreading and things like that. And then what ray tracing does is it essentially takes that and it takes that idea and just kind of automates it so that it understands light sources and it understands objects and it can do all that programming in real time as things are happening. So it can, and it does it with reflections, it does it with lighting.
When you say in real time, you mean
While you are playing the game, like
oh,
in that environment,
so
it
it's not.
is generating the light and the reflections and everything. Now this is a huge hit right now to computer performance. So a lot of computers aren't actually able to turn it on and play the game.
You're saying it takes a lot of memory that most computers aren't built to
Yeah, it
run
takes a
that
lot of
high demand.
memory to do that and processing power. And
But now that that's being automated away, ultimately it's a
yeah,
good thing. It just
it'll make it
more
you
steps
can make
to
nicer
get.
looking video games without having the team that used to be necessary.
Yeah.
And that's just one part. Then there's like basic coding is now also being automated. In essence, there's I guess the easiest way to kind of think of this is websites nowadays. When you have Squarespace or these developers, Dreamweaver, a lot of it is now drag and drop. You can build websites without even needing to know code. You can just drag and drop different templates, or you can drag and drop different what do you call those, plugins and extensions.
I've been enjoying the Google one.
Yeah, the Google has its own site creator, and as those site creators right now are very basic, even the more advanced ones are starting to be able to do a lot of things that don't even require code. And then as those more advanced ones,
what do you mean?
Well, they require code, but they can code it automatically. So you just tell it what you want it to do. In basic terms, like I want to put a picture here on the website, and it's able to do it and make it look nice and add the tags and what however else it needs. And like tags pretty much can be automatically generated too, with especially with Google learning what pictures are. So you could take a picture of like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and Google knows exactly what that picture is.
Sorry, Google answered as if he was talking.
And so there's a lot of parts to a website and that's just a small bit. Same thing with back in the gaming world, like small bits of coding, like is saying how a character should run, how a character should animate. Those things are being easily done just by the
Is there
editors.
like a formula that basically is taking over it? This you're saying it's automated, but it's like an artificial, like it's a code to write a code, kind of?
Yes, essentially it's
an artificial intelligence, which is in essence a code.
Yeah, it's and what is this, and right now it's less of artificial intelligence, more of
an algorithm.
It's more of an interface, making an interface that makes it so that instead of typing in code to do what you want to do, you mess with the interface. So let's say if I wanted to have a character that swung a sword, right?
Okay.
And I wanted to make that animation, instead of coding all the different like the entire animation, the body movement, you could literally just there's interfaces now where you can just hit record, and then you can drag the body, because the body now has like skeletal structures. You can just drag the parts of the body that you want to move, and then you have a start point and end point, and then it codes everything for you as to how the body would move to get that animation.
Okay. I think that makes it pretty clear.
Yeah, and it makes it so that like and the coding part might not necessarily just be for coders. It could be now for more on the animation side, or like the people that are drawing these things, or the engineers. Well, you'll just need less engineering staff, because you would have the engineers that are doing the game work, and you don't have to have the smaller staff, or well, like the kind of the larger staff of engineers that are doing the smaller work anymore.
Sounds neat.
Yeah, and so automation and in the tech world is they're essentially, it's funny, like kind of automating themselves away.
I mean, but that is the sign of a good job. I mean, that's kind of like the thing is like a good, well, like any profession, the best kind of person will work themselves out of a job, basically. But that is exciting.
Yeah,
and
there's a lot of cool things, and it'll also make it very easy for a lot of smaller indie developers who wanted to, who like, if you just are, you're a very minimal coder, but you have a great idea. A lot of these game engines will have these systems built in so that you could build a very nice, proper game.
That is ultimately the nice thing, is that it makes it more accessible for a wider pool of people, thus making it more accessible to a wider range of ideas, as more people can access and create and make do with these advancements. That it is nice.
Yeah. And that was one thing.
What is next? I think we did two things. We talked about the automated coding and the ray tracing.
Yeah, that was part of one package.
Yeah?
Was the automating, like the ray tracing was like an example.
I think ray tracing is pretty cool. I'm pretty new to it, but looking at the difference in it is much better with the eyes.
Yeah,
okay.
It's
that was all
really nice. The other thing, and this is definitely on the more political side, but it is also pertaining to tech, because a lot of tech companies, some of the biggest tech companies out there are social media companies. And there's been, right now in the news, a lot of talk about Facebook having been just through Congress about their
running
political ads. And today, Jack Dorsey from Twitter, he's the CEO of Twitter.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He he actually stated that Twitter's new policy on political ads. So first we'll go with Facebook. Facebook's political ad policy essentially is that they are not censoring political ads.
Zuckerberg did say they have a third-party independent someone or other that is doing something, but ultimately they're not fact-checking, and they're not really being responsible for what the political parties or candidates or campaigns are advertising. Just that they're not censoring, they're not selecting through.
Yeah, that's essentially their idea is that just to have an open what is it? The open.
Sure, we
an open stage, I guess, would be. I can't
not
remember.
Censoring it, which is the bottom line. Which that was what Zuckerberg said. Is he said, if someone's saying things, like if they are making false statements, isn't it better that those are out there and that the public don't believe that they're always putting out true facts if they are in fact putting things.
We're not going to go into the politics of it.
It's just that
this is like that. That's
trying not
the
to
one
censor.
thing. And then Jack Dorsey came out today and said that Twitter is actually just not going to do political ads, which creates a whole new problem of what is a political ad and what isn't. But that's the effective. That's effectively what they announced today, was that we're not doing any political ads of any sort, and that's basically that. So when it comes to social media, because right now social media has it is in this gray space, because publications like a newspaper, you could write into a newspaper, you can write in an article, you can write in to magazines, and these are publications that you can broadcast your message. Social media sites essentially are doing that same thing, but making it more accessible to everybody. However, you have this open forum versus a publication. A publication is responsible for what it sends out. So if a publication takes a letter from somebody and then puts it in their magazine, that publication is responsible for that, because they curate what goes out. They're the curators of what's going on.
They're supposed to have an editor that oversees.
And a lot of what happens on social media oftentimes is not legally attributed to social media sites, because they are not considered a publisher. However, what's happening right now in the world is the more and more social media sites are found that their algorithms are adjusting and censoring and deciding what is allowed to be published on their site and what isn't, the more people are looking at them as publishers and not an open forum, like it was like it was originally thought of as, and like a lot of their concept was designed as that. And so you will be seeing probably here now this idea of which social media sites are publishers and which ones are open forums. And I think that's going to this political ad system is also going to be helping shape which ones end up in which categories.
It is interesting to think of it that way. It makes sense, but is not something I had previously considered.
And these tech giants, they are becoming some of the biggest ways that people communicate across the world.
Well, there's so many people that get most of their information from Facebook and or other social media sites that are not necessarily reliable.
And the amount of net information that's just out on the like that people can get. There's then things like smaller publications, independent publications have had a chance to break away from mainstream media, so that the top mainstream media news like ABC, Fox, CNN, they don't have the monopoly or the closed off system of what information gets spread to the people, because now everybody has this access to just as much information, if not more information.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about how the media does primarily influence opinions and such based on what they will and will not show, like the people, the stances, I'm not going to get into the political of it.
Yeah. So it's just very interesting, the two different faces of what is going to be probably within the next decade. You'll see the change between these social media sites and how they will evolve over the next few years. And same thing with monetization systems. I think actually over the next few years, you'll end up seeing probably a paid for social media site that this is my prediction, that a paid for social media site will come in play that will end up becoming really popular because it's paid for by the users. It's not based off of the ads. So then they don't have any reason to fudge the algorithms to make sure that the advertisers want to advertise on their platform, because they're not focusing on that. They're focusing on the people that are on the platform. And then also, depending on what they will allow those people to do on the platform, if it's going to be an open forum for anybody, except for the fact that it's a paid for platform. So if you have whatever fee there would be, and then you can post onto this open forum. That's how I'm predicting what the something that would be big enough to change what the media sites are. Otherwise, you'll see these two media sites, there are two types of media sites coming around between open forums and publication sites. That's how I see it.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see going forward, because I'm still not clear on the publication sites. So like Facebook, obviously they're not controlling what individuals are posting, so would they then be an open forum, or are they, and is that what they're saying, like in their current stance on ads? Or if they did start to be selective with the ads but we're still open with whatever people wanted to say, then would it be a publication, or would it still be a forum, but they're in that sense just being more restrictive about what they're allowing. I don't know the bits of
and
it.
also the laws are very far behind before they would even figure this out either. So it's an interesting frontier that these tech companies have
stumbled onto
and created.
Yeah.
And it will be interesting to see how it resolves.
Well, that is it for today, yeah?
That is it for today. Another short one today. There's not a lot going on in the tech
New
world.
tech stuff, and I'm sorry that I don't have more questions right now. I don't know. I've learned a lot, but there's always going to be more to keep learning.
We did see a movie though for movie review.
Which movie?
Yesterday.
We did see a movie yesterday. Remind me which one we saw. My memory is not the best. We saw The Addams Family more than a week ago. I can't remember what we saw yesterday. Well, we were gonna see Doctor Sleep. It wasn't Doctor Sleep. I know that.
Any clue?
Zombieland. We saw Zombieland too. Double tap. But that's what we saw.
Yes, we saw Zombieland 2. And if you liked Zombieland 1, you will like Zombieland 2. It was fantastic. It was hilarious. And
it was like the same kind of comedy. You have to appreciate that kind of over-exaggerated, sarcastic
nonsense.
Yeah.
And it was
spoofy.
It was really fun. Goofy. And if you didn't like Zombieland, then this won't change your mind about the series.
Pretty true.
But what I said to my Facebook family was that even if you don't like Zombieland, I would still recommend seeing it just for the end credit scene, because I think that's like the best ending scene, post credit scene in existence. I thought it was great. Have a great one, guys, and we will see you next week.
Till next time.